$900 a month. That's what the average Social Security check looks like for millions of Americans right now. And before it even settles in the account, rent takes half. Groceries take another chunk. A prescription or two. Maybe one utility bill. And that's it. That's the month. This is retirement in America in 2026. Not relaxation, not freedom. Just math that doesn't add up. But here's what almost nobody talks about. There are places in the world right now where that same $900 check doesn't just cover your bills. It covers your bills, your meals, your healthcare, and still leaves money sitting in your account at the end of the month. Some of these places, you could live on $500 and call it comfortable. Now, everybody says Thailand. Thailand, Thailand, Thailand. But Thailand just shifted its tax rules on foreign income. The expat crowds have exploded. The golden era of cheap Thai retirement is quietly cracking at the edges. So today, we're going beyond the usual list. 10 countries, real numbers, real visa programs, and a few destinations most people have never even considered. The Philippines runs one of the most straightforward retirement programs in Asia. It's called the SRRV, Special Resident Retirees Visa, and the age requirement starts at 50. That's younger than almost any other country on this list. If you have a pension, a $10,000 bank deposit locks in your permanent residency. That's a one-time deposit, not spent, just sitting there. But here's the number that genuinely stops people in their tracks. Military veterans qualify for a completely different tier. The courtesy program, $1,500 on deposit. That's it. Comfortable living runs about $1,000 to $1,200 a month. But plenty of retirees get by well under that if they live like a local. Colombia requires a monthly pension of roughly $1,450 to qualify for the Type M Pensionado visa. So it asks for more than some others on this list, but here's why it still makes the cut. The World Health Organization ranked Colombia's healthcare system higher than the United States. That's not a blog opinion. That's the WHO. And for retirees, healthcare cost is often the number that makes or breaks the budget. In Medellin, a city with a spring-like climate year-round, comfortable living lands around $1,300 to $1,500 a month. The air quality and the pace of life both beat most American cities by a wide margin. Most people are still Googling where Albania is. That's the whole point. While Portugal, Greece, and Spain are aggressively eliminating their tax breaks for foreigners and doubling golden visa minimums, Albania went the opposite direction. Albania passed a 0% tax rate on foreign pension income. Every cent of your Social Security check lands in your account untouched. The Albanian government keeps none of it. A comfortable life on the Albanian Riviera. Think Adriatic coastlines that look like Croatia from 20 years ago, before everyone discovered it, runs about $1,100 to $1,300 a month. Apartments with sea views rent for prices that would make a Floridian cry. Panama's Pensionado Visa is probably the most famous retirement program in the Western Hemisphere. The income requirement is just $1,000 a month. But the part that actually changes the budget math is what the visa legally unlocks. By Panamanian law, Pensionado visa holders get 25% off utility bills, 25% off airline tickets, and up to 20% off all medical services. These aren't promotional deals. They are government mandated by law. The US dollar is the currency. No exchange rate. No conversion fees. Your bank account works exactly like it does at home. Comfortable living runs about $1,500 to $2,000 a month. But with those discounts built in, the real spending number drops considerably below that headline figure. This one is for anyone watching who just thought, I don't have a $1,500 pension yet. Vietnam has no formal retirement visa program. But long-term tourist renewals make extended living genuinely possible. And the cost of living here makes every other country on this list look expensive by comparison. A fully furnished luxury apartment, rooftop pool, city views, modern kitchen, rents for under $450 a month in cities like Da Nang and Hoi An. Comfortable total living runs $800 to $1,000 a month. If you live with any intentionality at all, $500 a month is genuinely achievable here. Vietnam is where the math actually hits the number in our title. Here's a fact that lands differently every time. Bulgaria has the lowest overall cost of living anywhere in the European Union. Not close to the lowest. The lowest. Full stop. The Bulgarian D-Visa pensioner category asks for official pensioner status, Social Security, or private pension, plus proof of a local bank account or rental contract. If those boxes are checked, residency is essentially straightforward. Comfortable living in Bulgaria runs $1,000 to $1,200 a month. But you are inside the EU. Full infrastructure. European healthcare standards. Easy travel to Greece, Romania, Turkey. For $1,000 a month, Bulgaria might be the best deal in Europe that nobody is talking about. Ecuador made one decision that changed everything for American retirees living there. They adopted the US dollar as their official currency. No foreign exchange risk. No watching an exchange rate eat your pension every time it shifts. The dollar you deposit is the dollar you spend. The visa requires about $1,350 a month in income, and comfortable living lands around $1,200 to $1,400, meaning your qualification income and your living costs sit in almost the same range. Cuenca, Ecuador's most popular expat city, sits in the Andes. The climate runs a permanent 65 to 70 degrees. No air conditioning needed, no heating needed. That alone drops utility costs to near zero. Nobody talks about this one. That's the entire case for it. Lake Ohrid sits in the southwest corner of North Macedonia. Classic European architecture, mountain backdrop, crystal clear water, and prices that look like Southeast Asia, not Southern Europe. Comfortable living in North Macedonia runs $900 to $1,100 a month. Violent crime is virtually non-existent. The country isn't flooded with expats yet. You're not competing with a wave of early adopters who already drove rents up. This is the curiosity gap pick. The one you show people who think they've heard every retirement destination that exists. The Dominican Republic requires $1,500 a month in pension income. But look at what the program actually delivers. Permanent residency within 45 days. Not months. Not a year of waiting. 45 days. On top of that, the program includes complete tax exemption on all foreign retirement income and a full waiver on property transfer taxes for your first home purchase. Caribbean living, tax-free income, and the fastest residency path on this entire list. Comfortable living runs $1,400 to $1,700 a month. People pay Monaco prices to look at water like this. In Montenegro, you don't have to. The Adriatic fjords here look like something off a postcard. The country runs a flat 9% income tax on general income, one of the lowest flat rates in Europe. And long-term residency paths through property lease or a small local entity are accessible without layers of bureaucracy. Comfortable living runs $1,400 to $1,600 a month. But the lifestyle you are buying at that price point? It compares to places charging 3 and 4 times as much. Montenegro is the luxury option on a modest budget. And in 2026, it's still discoverable before the crowds arrive. Your Social Security check hits the account, $2,000, and before you even exhale, it's already gone. Rent, groceries, a prescription, maybe the electric bill if you're lucky. That's retirement in America in 2026. But here's what nobody tells you. Right now, 8 foreign governments are sitting at a table, fighting over your pension dollars. They have built legal programs, actual laws designed specifically to pull American retirees out of the US and into their borders. We're talking tax breaks, healthcare access, bill discounts, and visa programs that ask for almost nothing in return. Not a fantasy. Not a travel blog dream. Real law, real countries, real numbers. Today, we're walking through all 8, and some of these will genuinely surprise you. Panama has been running the most famous retiree program in the world for decades. It's called the Pensionado Visa, and the requirement? $1,000 a month in Social Security or pension income. That's it. But here's where it gets interesting. The moment you qualify, Panamanian law gives you 25% off utility bills, 25% off airline tickets, and 50% off entertainment. By law, not a coupon, not a loyalty reward. The government wrote it in. Panama also uses the US dollar. No currency math. No conversion stress. Your bank works the same way it always has. The catch? Panama City humidity hits like a wall, and local bureaucracy moves slowly. But for $1,000 a month and a legally discounted life, most people say it's absolutely worth it. Safe, stunning, and surprisingly affordable if you know where to look. Portugal's D7 visa requires about $1,000 a month in passive income. Social Security counts. And once you're in, you get access to the Portuguese public healthcare system, which makes American Medicare look expensive. But here's the catch most people miss. Lisbon has gotten pricey. If you land in the capital expecting the old bargain, you'll be disappointed. Therefore, you need to look at the Silver Coast or the Algarve. Towns like Caldas da Rainha or Lagos, rents drop hard. The lifestyle doesn't. One of the safest countries on the planet, Western European infrastructure, and a coast that looks like it was designed to retire on. Portugal keeps showing up on these lists for a reason. Big American expat community, warm weather year-round, and a healthcare system that quietly outperforms what most Americans are paying 3 times the price for back home. Costa Rica's Pensionado program needs exactly $1,000 a month. Same threshold. But the real reason people move here is medical. The private hospital network, CIMA, specifically performs major surgeries at 70% less than US prices. Heart procedures, orthopedics, dental, all of it. The trade-off? Imported goods carry brutal taxes. American cars, electronics, anything shipped in gets expensive fast. But if you buy local and live local, the math works beautifully. English is widely spoken. The people are some of the warmest you will ever meet. And the cultural respect for older people here isn't marketing language. It's built into the way people actually live. The visa is called the SRRV, Special Resident Retirees Visa. It asks for $800 a month in pension income, plus a modest bank deposit. But this is the number that stops people cold. Full-time, live-in domestic and healthcare help costs under $300 a month. That is not a typo. For many retirees dealing with mobility or health challenges, that single fact changes everything. The honest catch: infrastructure outside the major cities can be rough. Power outages happen. But inside cities like Cebu or in established expat towns, daily life runs smoothly. This one costs more to get into. But look at what you're buying. Spain's non-lucrative visa requires around $2,400 a month in income. Higher bar. But you get first-world infrastructure, one of the best rail systems in the world, and a Mediterranean lifestyle that health researchers literally study for its longevity effects. Groceries and dining out cost roughly half of what you'd pay in the American Midwest. The streets are clean. The healthcare system is ranked among the best in Europe. The one thing you must know, if you spend more than 183 days a year in Spain, you become a Spanish tax resident. Your worldwide income gets taxed. Therefore, anyone considering Spain needs a tax plan before they pack a suitcase. Get that sorted first. Caribbean living, English as the official language, and sitting just south of Mexico's border for easy travel. Belize's QRP program, Qualified Retired Persons, asks for $2,000 a month in income. But here's the trade nobody talks about. 0% tax on any income earned outside of Belize. Every penny of your pension stays yours. Social Security, investment income, retirement distributions, Belize doesn't touch a cent of it. The honest downside, the local healthcare system is basic. Most expats fly to Mexico or back to the US for anything serious. So factor that into your budget. But as a tax-free base with a Caribbean backdrop and zero language barrier, Belize is quietly underrated. Specifically, Cuenca. And specifically because the weather there is described as permanent spring. No air conditioning needed. No central heating needed. The Andes Mountains create a climate that sits around 65 to 70 degrees nearly every day of the year. Ecuador's pensioner visa requires $13.50 a month. And for that, a fully modern luxury apartment in Cuenca's historic center runs under $600 a month. There are people living there right now, in beautiful apartments, spending less on housing than most Americans spend on car insurance. The real warning, high altitude is a serious consideration. For retirees with heart or respiratory conditions, Cuenca sits at over 8,000 feet. Talk to your doctor before you book a flight. Most people still have to Google where this is. That's exactly why it made this list. Albania sits on the Adriatic and Ionian Seas. Turquoise water, cliffs, a coastline that looks like the Greek islands at a fraction of the price. You can take a 30-minute ferry from Saranda straight to Corfu. The retirement resident permit requires about $1,000 a month. But a new law recently passed that makes it even more interesting. Foreign pensioners in Albania pay 0% income tax on their pensions. The honest catch, outside the capital Tirana, infrastructure is still developing. Healthcare is limited in rural areas. But as an affordable, visa-friendly, tax-free Mediterranean base that almost nobody has discovered yet, Albania is the sleeper pick on this entire list. Here's the real story. 8 governments around the world looked at what retirement in America has become, and they made a decision. They want those Social Security dollars. They want those pension checks flowing into their economies. And they built legal programs to make it happen. Staying in financial stress is not your only option. It is a choice. And right now, 8 countries are offering you a different one. Which of these 8 would you actually consider? Drop it in the comments. We read every single one. Subscribe to Life After Retirement. Next video, we're breaking down exactly how to move your money overseas legally without the IRS taking a cut. Don't miss it.